According to an anthropologist from the University of Michigan, some chimpanzees in the African nation of Tanzania could be getting high on drug-tainted leaves. And just for you tonight, our Wayne Shannon comments on this announcement. Wayne Bo.
Thank you, Jimbo. You know, I've been thinking about it, and now that this report from Tanzania is out about leaves that make monkeys go ape, I think I could use another shade tree in the old backyard. How about you? Just kidding. I could use a forest. But what we have here, campers, is a confab, or a gathering, if you prefer, in Chicago of humans who are into monkeys like you and I are into air, and brought together by none other than the famous Joan Goodall, who, as you doubtless know, has spent the last 20 years in the wild watching apes and chimps, which I'm sure has been its own reward. And it was at this little clam bake where the news was announced that certain Tanzanian chimps eat the leaves of the aspilla tree, which has a drug on the surface of each leaf known as thiorubine, which, along with making the chimps act drugged, has been found to kill harmful bacteria and fungi, as well as deactivating some viruses. Apes and chimps have been known to eat several different kinds of leaves in nature, of course, but this appears to be the only leaf they have been observed touching first with their tongues and then swallowing whole. What's it all mean? Well, probably nothing, but I know what I'm going to be doing this weekend. That's right, sanding down the old tongue. Jim's over here.
Planting those seedlings, too.
We'll have a good time.
Watering those little devils.
We're glad you could join us tonight and this week. I'm Sylvia Chase.
I'm Jim Paymar. For all the news this weekend, join Emerald Ye and Jerry Graham. We'll see you Monday, 6 and 11. Good night, everyone. Chemical pesticides could no longer be necessary on American farms because in the future, farm pests and even weeds may be eradicated by electrocution. And just for you tonight, our Wayne Shannon explains. Boski.
Thank you, Jimbo. Boski? What we have here is a company out in KCMO called the Electrofrac Corp, and its president, who claims that he will soon have a machine that will both kill bugs and parasites that attack crops above the ground and vis-a-vis a tiller in the rear of the machine that will not only do the same for beasties of a similar sort below the ground, but also electrocute the seeds of weeds. I love English. The president of this company, who is also the inventor, assures us that his new machine will do all that plus heat and sterilize the ground, but not harm the cash crops or those bugs and critters that actually help farmers like bees and marijuana growers. Little California humor. The investor says, yes, there is an electric weed killer on the market now for farmers for $12,000, but his machine does more, like, for instance, killing farm pests and weeds while being cheaper than chemical extermination, and, of course, fewer chemicals, being healthier for consumers. Now, if I were a farmer, would I buy one of those bug zappers when they come out? No way. As Uncle Denzel used to say, when you're on a farm, never turn your back on anything that doesn't have a conscience. Jim, Sylvia.
Thanks, you, Wayne. Thanks for being with us tonight. I'm Sylvia Chase.
I'm Jim Paymar for the very first news of the day. News Center 4 Daybreak, 6:30 tomorrow. We're back tomorrow, 6 and 11. Good night, everyone. Fleet Week begins tomorrow, and just for you tonight, our Wayne Shannon comments on this annual Bay Area occurrence. Wayne.
Thank you, Jim. Perhaps there is a distinction worth making if one joins the military as opposed to being drafted or joining because you would have been drafted anyway, like I did. But I'd be willing to bet there are some similarities, nonetheless, between all who serve in America's military, regardless of how they got there. And with the arrival of Fleet Week these days follows protesters who are against everything from nukes and war in general to the presence of the Navy in the bay specifically. And on board are the sailors who, though it doubtless sounds too simple, go where the ships go. And by all this, I don't mean to gloss over some of your most complicated and frightening concerns with a simplistic viewpoint, but I am inclined to believe that these young men and women in uniform are not ordinary folks. I don't even think they think about it much, thank heavens, but these sailors stand between us and whatever. And the whatever part can get real bad. I've seen some of the whatever, it so happens, and among a million other things, it makes old people out of young people, and for the rest of their lives. Mostly young people will fill the uniforms we'll be seeing all this week, and some of them will act too much like kids. But believe me, it's better that way. Jim, Sylvia.
Thanks, Wayne.
Thanks, Wayne.
Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next week.
Yeah, I'm Jim Paymar. Join Emerald and Jerry for the news this weekend at 5 and 11. Good night, everyone.